Hi there, I'm Dean Owens. I'm part of this ensemble of Buffalo Blood, and we're here at Celtic Connections to play our first ever show together. And it's amazing to be part of this festival. And we're also launching the album tonight as well.
Spirits of the past walk beside me. Dancers are easy to find. Spirits of the past walk beside me. Dancers are easy to find. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm
Hi to everyone out there, and to my right here is Neilson Hubbard. Hey Neilson.
Hello, all the way from America, Nashville, which Audrey and I just moved to Kentucky, but we're happy to be here in a jet-lagged haze. We're super excited to be here playing tonight. And right here,
Joshua Britt. I am from Nashville.
He's not a Brit.
I'm not a Brit.
And you're, so Audrey here to my left,
Hi.
Audrey Spillman, and Audrey's singing on the record, and we all co-wrote the songs together as well. And it's an album that we kind of came up with. We started off in Nashville, but then we took this big long road trip out to New Mexico, a place called Abiquiu, and recorded all the songs out there in the field. Neilson was a bit of a wizard on the engineering side, and we managed to capture the songs outdoors in all these amazing canyons around about Ghost Ranch, which is where Georgia O'Keeffe did her paintings. So we were really inspired by the landscape, and the songs deal with some big issues, none of which we're experts about, but we all had a passion for what was going on in the world just now with displacement of people and refugee crisis and what happened in their homeland.
Buffalo gone. White man, he destroyed them. Promises were made, and everyone was broken. Prairie and the plains are home. The white man wanted everything. The white man never listened to us. Now our way of life is gone. Still he wants even more from us.
When I read a lot about the Native Americans' history, I could relate to it through the Highland clearances that we had here when everybody was forcibly removed from Scotland. And there's a bit of a whole full circle with it, because the people that were removed from here ended up going up and setting up home in the eastern part of the United States and became part of the Native Americans' problem because those guys were the pioneers, and so it all kind of comes around to what Buffalo Blood is about. I don't know if you want to say anything, Niels.
Yeah, I mean, Dean here came to me when we were making the record for your first solo record we worked on together.
Yeah, Into the Sea.
Yeah, Into the Sea. We started, you were showing me these songs and playing, they're just beautiful, beautiful tunes, and so you kind of brought those to me, and then we started talking about Josh maybe coming on, and Audrey.
Yeah, well,
so
because we always said we wanted a female voice, and just so happened that Neilson got to know Audrey very well.
Yes.
The sound of the children coming home. The sound of the children coming home. The sound of the children coming home. Thank you.
But yeah, like I think when we heard the songs, we wanted to figure out a way to record them that felt authentic and felt like it had more than just a studio recording, or more than just like, oh, we're a band. It just had a collection of friends and a collection of passion, that we could go out there, and hopefully that would inspire us to be out in the desert, so that it would bring that element to the record.
Yeah, and we all had an interest in the subject matter, but although we certainly with this record, we're not trying to beat people over the head in any political sense or that. It's really about the songs and the human spirit. Josh and I wrote songs together. Neilson and I wrote songs together. Audrey brought songs in, and we always wanted a strong female voice, and thankfully Audrey was into the project. So Audrey, you've got some ancestry with...
Yeah, part of my family on my dad's side is a Native American. My great-grandmother's name was Arula Mayflower, and so she was actually forced out of her home in Indiana. She lived on a reservation that was sanctioned for the Indians in that area. But I was very fortunate to be a part of this project, and the song that I had written called White River, I wrote with Neilson. I'd had a dream, and in the dream, this Indian had came to me in it, and he had told me about the White River. I hadn't even heard of the White River. I looked it up on my phone when I woke up, and it was actually a river that the Indians had walked along, sort of in the same line as the Trail of Tears. A lot of them died of diseases. Children died, and so the song was inspired by that. So. I think going to Abiquiu and being in that atmosphere and hearing like the hawk, which you can hear on the recording, which was in Echo Amphitheater, I believe. Yeah. And then the wind and just the different elements that got picked up, and you can hear clearly on the record, that helps to bring to life the momentum and the emotion of what the songs are about. Yeah,
there's a lot of coincidences as well. I felt that happened the whole process. The first song on the record is called 10 Killer Ferry Lake, and at first we were just calling it the lake, and it was a place that I'd seen on the map many years ago. I caught it on the map of the US, and I thought that's a great song title or something, and I'd written it down in my notebook. And then when we started working on this song called The Lake, I found out that 10 Killer Ferry Lake place was actually where the Cherokee Nation were forcibly removed to in Oklahoma. And then just by chance, when we were driving that road out to New Mexico, we actually saw a sign for 10 Killer Ferry Lake. So I think the Trail of Tears does run through a lot of the songs, but that wasn't just the Cherokee that had a Trail of Tears. All the different tribes had a Trail of Tears, and the people that got moved from Scotland had their Trail of Tears, and and it's going on in the world today. With, it's a huge displacement of people around the world. So I feel like the project is as much about now as it is about then.
Comanche moon, Comanche moon, Comanche moon, Comanche moon. Now there's nowhere left to go. No trees, no elk, no buffalo. Just sickness and frustration. It's a forgotten nation. Now there's nowhere left to go.
The next song actually Neilson wrote. It was funny, we knew the project was going to be called Buffalo Blood way back, and I had a song called Buffalo Blood that I'd been kicking around, wrestling with, and I just wasn't sitting right. And then Neilson emailed me a song when I was back in Edinburgh called Buffalo Blood as well, and his was much better than mine. So we went with that one. And the sort of crazy thing about buffalo was the buffalo were the Native Americans' main food source, and well, actually for everything. They made their clothes and their shelter out of buffalo. And when the pioneers moved over and kind of migrated west, they killed all the buffalo, and so they didn't even, all they killed them for was their fur, and would leave everything else lying on the plains. And it was said that you could walk for miles across the prairie on buffalo bones. And when we were out in New Mexico making this record, I was really keen to see some buffalo. And I kind of knew that there wasn't many out there in that part of the world now, but I did a sort of Google search for the closest buffalo herd that would be in it. And I couldn't believe it. All that came up, like the first few things that came up anyway, were all about how to shoot buffalo for sport. And I just thought, things hadn't really changed much, really. So this is Neilson's song. It's called Buffalo Blood.
Take us all what you don't want, throw back. Take us all what you don't want, throw back. Take us all, take us all, take us all. Still run like the blood of the buffalo, pouring out on the land of my brothers. Still run like the blood of the buffalo, from the veins of my father's father. Treaty signed and broken, buffalo days are gone. We still sing this song. 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 We still sing this song.
So we're going to hand you over to Mr. Joshua Britt, who's going to play you a beautiful song. We kind of worked on this one together. Most of the songs were written when we were in Nashville before we left for our big journey. And this is one I think we did out in Hendersonville, where Josh lives just outside Nashville. So I'm not going to tell you what it's about, because Josh wrote the lyrics. So.
And I don't understand what Dean just said. I don't speak Scottish. I'm really trying.
Think yourself lucky.
This is it's about being inspired by beauty of a place so grand as the wide open desert. This is maybe, I'd driven through the desert before, but we went over there and we made these records, and we would just drive around in a van until we found the prettiest spot, the most wild looking, or a spot that had a big canyon overhang. So we thought, well, that canyon might sound cool. And we'd just run out and start recording. So it's that kind of nature and beauty inspired this song.
We kind of became recording ninjas. So we would, like you said, we'd see a spot and we'd grab all the gear out the van and just run up to the, wherever it was, and set up quickly and get as much done as we could before the tourists arrived. And often the tourists would arrive and they got a wee sort of free gig, and it was always quite special when they came, because they just stood there and listened to us, and then they'd applaud at the end. And there was a couple of times we had to tell them not to applaud because we were recording.
This is Beneath the Golden Sky.
Out here in the desert, coyotes cry, sunlight is burning out where old stars fly. When the world turns over, no sad goodbye. Out here in the desert, red moon in the sky. Out here in the desert, there's to the sea, and in the canyons, you only hear from me. When the world turns over, no sad goodbye. Out here in the desert, in the golden sky. Golden sky, na 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 na, beneath the golden sky.
Thank you. And if Jim DeMain's watching, I'd like to really thank him for all the. Jim was my partner in making time lapses, and every second in New Mexico that somebody wasn't filming, one of us would say, "Oh, we've got to make a time lapse right now." We have hours of beautiful footage thanks to Jim.
It's a vanishing world. It's a vanishing world. It's a vanishing world. It's a vanishing world. A vanishing world. A vanishing world. A vanishing world.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to say a big, massive thanks to my manager, Morag Neil, for putting everything together and helping get these guys over here. So big thanks to Morag. We did it.
Yes. And we have a Facebook page.
Thank you.
Buffalo Band on Facebook. So give us a like. Thank you so much.